What exactly is your job as a man in a relationship? Now, most guys will think stuff like it's to provide and protect and offer security and whatever the heck, whatever. That's not your actual job, by the way. What your actual job is, every single guy that's actually good with women, and any guy that has a lot of experience with women, knows this intrinsically, whether they're aware of it or not, right? And we're going to discuss that in this video. We're going to go over the beginning of the relationship, the long-term relationship, and how you have to maintain this thing throughout from beginning to end. And the second it's gone is the second she leaves. If you like content like this, by the way, scroll down, hit that subscribe button, where you will get this information nowhere else, I think anyway, or at least my perspective on it, right? So what is this thing? This thing that I'm talking about is, the best way that I can describe it is creating like an artificial reality for the girl. Let me explain. There's a lot of, we as humans have an imagination, right? We like to, we escape. That's what it is. Let me rephrase this. You're creating an artificial reality of escape for the woman. That's it. And that's your job. From the first date, from the first moment you say hi to her, all the way till you have kids and all the way after into retirement. An artificial reality. What do I actually mean by that? What I mean by that is, back in the day, there used to be this thing called future relationship projection. There used to be a specific term for it. It's an old hypnotist type of like trick. It's not really a trick. What it is when you actually go and talk to a girl for the first time, or you're talking to them in a bar or whatever, you're basically asserting a frame on them that you're like already in a relationship, or that you're already ex-boyfriend, girlfriend. And this used to be a big one back in the day because it works really well, by the way. So you go up to a girl and you're like, oh my God, we broke up 2 years ago. What are you doing here? I haven't seen you in 2 years. And you've already started the conversation off as if you're ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, right? Or you're maybe 10 minutes into a conversation and you future project, where you're like, won't it be so fun when our kids are off to college and we can go retire at Paris? And so basically you planted the idea in her head that you're already married in the future. Like you're creating an artificial reality. You're married, you have kids, you led a successful life, and now you're retired together. The goal here is you want to project an idea into her head of all the things that she wants, or some like a fantasy. Like you're projecting a future fantasy with her, right? Well, it works almost every damn time, right? And why is that? Because, again, back to the goal of what your actual job is as a man. Your job is to maintain that artificial reality forever. Now, what does that mean on like the first date or in perpetuity, right? So when you actually notice, when a woman in general, like women tend to get a lot more stressed out a lot more easily than we do as guys. We have a higher threshold for stress, right? What I mean by that is like, when a woman goes to work, why is it always women are the ones that go crazy or that lash out? Or they throw plates or remote controls against the wall and all this shit. Like they seem to go ape shit, right? Because they just like, their tolerance of stress is such a small bottle. And then when that cork pops, baby, they go ape shit, right? So your job as a man, if you notice that, I'm sure if you have a girlfriend, you know that. Your bills, all that shit, man, it all stresses them out. So your job as a man is to make them forget that. It doesn't really matter what story you tell them, as long as it makes them forget. You basically, when you're playing like World of Warcraft, or you're playing video games, or you're watching a movie or a TV show, the goal there is to escape into that reality. It helps you unwind. It just helps you escape the brutality of the world for an hour, right? I don't think it's a bad thing, by the way. Women, though, when they're with you, they want to feel that escape 24/7. That's all they want. They just want to escape. Your job is to make them feel like they've escaped. Now, for those of you bright guys out there, why do you think drug dealers and pimps have always been the number one players? Why is it always drug dealers and club promoters and shit? It's because they're like the gatekeepers to the escape. So like the woman has this bottle that's about to burst. The drug dealer is like, here, have some Molly, have some heroin, have some whatever. She's like, yes, she's associating the escape of the drugs with that man. Therefore, that man is he's my escape. And women will not let you, bro, when you have the keys to their escape, women will never leave you, dude, never. But the second that you go from the escape to the reality, she's out. I implore you, pay real close attention to these words that I'm saying. This is probably the most important thing ever, right? And another way that guys are in the red pill space tend to talk about this is they talk about the men speak from logic and women speak from emotion. That's all that really means, but it's just like a terrible way to put it. Because like, if you both come home from work, from your 9 to 5 or whatever, and you're like, yeah, we need to pay our electricity bill today, honey. Can you please transfer me $70 or whatever? That's all logical. That's adding to her cork and her stress bottle. There's no escape there, right? Do you know what I'm saying? In order to make her escape, let me give you an example. Here's an example of a girl I took I took out on a date. This was a while ago, maybe like 6 months ago, when me and this other girl were like on a break. How do I describe this? I described it as me and her were like undercover partners in crime, and then we had to dress up with like hats and like jackets, and we had to like go undercover, right? And then I can't tell you exactly what we did. It wasn't anything illegal, don't worry, but basically the fantasy that I was making her enter was that we were like Bonnie and Clyde, or like just two criminals out with it, like Dexter and his girl or whatever, like two characters out on the town doing mischievous things and getting away with it, right? So for those few hours of us doing that, that's her escape. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be crazy ass shit. It just has to be, when I am with this man, I escape. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you first meet the girl, I hope this shit's landing with you guys. When you first meet the girl, and we're talking like at the bar, first date, anything like that, right? The first thing you gotta do, well, you know, say hi and all that shit, whatnot, right? But then immediately, you wanna start projecting a fantasy to escape. Role-playing, LARPing, Like, immediately go into a role play. So, like, when she asks you what you do for work, you can be like, I am a undercover spy trying to, and your parents are smuggling plutonium into the country, and I'm here to swoon their daughter in order to get access to their information. Just like some dumb, like the dumbest, but like all you did, and by the way, you do this in the form, isn't that fun though? That's the thing. Dealing with women is a lot of fun. Again, I've talked about this in previous videos where like, the whole goal of being with a girl, or what they teach us as guys, is to be kids again. We used to do this shit all the time as kids. That's why we actually have the capacity to do this. Remember when you were a kid? Well, when I was a kid, we didn't have social media and phones and shit. Maybe guys nowadays don't have this capability, but when I was a kid, I would go to my backyard and just use my imagination and like dig a hole with a stick. I would have like Ninja Turtles figurines and like create battles with Shredder and stuff in my head. Like we as humans have the ability to, here's a vulgar example for you. Again, I'm not sure if guys, these new age guys have this capacity, but this is gonna get vulgar. Have you ever, like, jerked off to a girl that you've known before in real life? Well, what do you have to do in that scenario? You have to escape. You have to create a reality in your own mind and escape to that reality. And whatever the hell the scenario might be, you're like changing her plumbing or something, or she invites you over to fix her computer, and it turns into a porn scene. But you did that all in your mind, didn't you? So you do have the capacity. Everybody has the capacity. For those of you guys that are like, I don't have the capacity for this. Sure you do, man. Absolutely you do. You got to get comfortable bringing that shit out. So again, when you're actually on a first date, or when you're meeting the girl for the first time, there's this seesaw play of like, game is fascinating. When you're first meeting a girl, there's a seesaw play of like playing with her and doing these like role-playing, LARPing artificial realities. Like you're creating this like bubble of artificial reality. At the same time, you're trying to get her phone number, her logistics, where she lives, is she there with her friends? So like, dude, you gotta have like the quantum computing processing power up here for this shit. And the girl has no idea this is going on, right? But, long story short, that's what you do when you first meet the girl. Create an artificial reality as fast as possible, and you wanna make her brain associate you with the escape. So wherever she is, and it actually doesn't matter if she's at the club. Why do girls go to the club? They go to escape, to meet guys to escape. That's the whole point, right? If she's at the coffee shop or some dumb shit, and you want to say hi there, you can make her escape from whatever she's doing at the coffee shop, like work or whatever. Now you gotta be respectful. If she has a deadline at work, you don't make her escape her deadline, right? Then she'll associate you with her missing the deadline, right? But as long as she associates you with the escape, the craziest thing about this is when you first meet the girl too, and you actually successfully, it is almost like hypnotizing though, to a certain degree. Here's the thing, okay. A lot of people will think like that's like a trick or like evil or whatever. But in order for a human to be hypnotized or enter another person's frame, they have to let them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can't, you can't, if you walk up to a strange girl and you're like, come with me to my house right now. It's not gonna work. She's not, you're telling her to enter your frame. She's like, what the fuck? No, absolutely not, right? But if you talk to a girl for 10, 20 minutes and you create this artificial reality for her of like, you guys are on an adventure together and you're Bonnie and Clyde and you have to go do some mischievous things together. Well, now in that reality specifically, it's expected that she would go with you and do mischievous things on an adventure. Like, that's the frame. She's in your frame. She's in your reality. And women have this strange thing. I think guys do too, because guys can be hypnotized too. I've just never done this to a guy before, because why the hell would you? But when the girl is in your frame and she's like hypnotized, women's brains tend to like switch into this mode where it's almost like they're like not drunk, but like they forget everything. Like this is why usually when a girl cheats on a guy, it's usually from a guy that's really good at creating an escape from her. If you notice this shit, for you guys that have ever been cheated on by a girl before, and you've ever like read the texts or whatnot, if you pay attention to the messages or the texts or whatever, it's all about getting her to escape the reality from you. Because you're the source of stress, the other guy is the escape from reality. And here's the thing. When a woman enters that escape from reality mode, she'll do anything. She won't remember anything until the next morning. But she'll go with you, she'll cheat on her man, she'll abandon her kids and shit. Like, they will do the craziest fucking shit when they are in that escape from reality mode. You know what I'm saying? When they're in that mode, and it's your job as a man to make sure that you are the supplier of that mode. So if you're in a 5-year-long relationship, another way that they put this is they're like, you can never stop dating your girl, or you can never stop going on dates. I think a lot of these people are trying to explain what I'm explaining, but they actually don't know how to articulate it properly. 5 years from now, when you're with your girl or whatever, a lot of guys, they become more logical over time, and they actually forget how to play and create an escape for that girl. Try this with your girlfriend one day. Just in the next like month or so, try this. Think of like a date, or because you know she's gonna come out on a date. If she's a girlfriend, she's gonna come out on a date with you, right? Plan some kind of date where you and your girl are like in a alternate reality of escape, and you're doing something. An escape room is a good one. Like that's already done. That's already planned for you, right? Like anything, man. Like, it's so much easier when you're single, to be fair, because you can imagine a lot. But it's like the easiest one that will always like lead to sex is like you guys are wrestling on the bed. But like, you know what? I just thought of this, but like, role playing in the bedroom is the exact same thing, isn't it? That's actually that's like the prime. When does a girl have the most fun in the bedroom? When she gets to escape her everyday life. Bingo. Role play. So imagine the role play in the bedroom, but you have to bring that energy and that reality frame manipulation part of it. You have to bring that everywhere in her life at all times. And if you can master this concept, the LARPing concept, the role playing, You'll never have a problem with women, man. You can steal any girl you want, brother. Any of them. Because every guy forgets how to do this. You can steal any of them. You can be with any of them. Dude, this is like a fucking superpower, right? So, okay, so here's the thing. Well, we're going to relate this to marriage for a second, and Instagram and social media, right? So women have a really horrible comparison bias too, right? So there's a new meta right now online called the male shaming rituals. And it's a lot of these women posting pictures of their man on Instagram after like weddings or whatever. And it's all, okay, think about this for a second. Let this sink for a second. The guy is taking a picture of the girl, like with the ring, like with an engagement. It's not them together, is it? It's never them together. It's always her with the ring as if she accomplished something. What is that? She's in her own escape land. The crazy thing is, it doesn't matter what guy put the ring there. What matters is the artificial reality, the escape from her life. In that moment, she gets to escape from her life. She's the engaged one now. She's the main character of her story. She made it, she did it. And that's a male shit. She doesn't care. And here's the thing. Brother, when you see these marriages online and these pictures online of these women and stuff, very rarely will you ever actually see a woman looking into her man with a sense of pride or like joy or like, this man is the source of my escape from this shit planet that we live in, right? He's my artificial land. It's never that. It's always herself creating it. Because guys don't know how to do it. Guys forget how to play, right? So you see this shit online, and then once you see it, you can't unsee it, dude. Because it doesn't matter what guy actually gave her the ring. The ring is the source of the escape and the thought of, so when she's actually up on the altar saying, I do you think she's thinking, what do you think they're thinking in that moment? They're not thinking, I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with this man. I am in love with this man. She's not looking into your eyes, and she's not like, what's happening in that moment is she's relishing in the moment of the escape. The wedding itself is an escape from reality. That's what she's there for. Like that, and then the honeymoon, escape from reality. Vacation, escape from reality. And then, so what happens after the wedding? This is why, by the way, again, when you see this shit, you can't unsee it. But when you come home from the wedding and you turn on Netflix and put your feet up, reality's back. Right there. And now all of a sudden she's like, uh-oh. I got swept up in the moment and I married this guy. This was a huge mistake because it wasn't you. It was the fantasy. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so the number, okay, here's how this relates to like the final point of all this. If you still can't pick up what I'm putting down here in this video, you're in trouble, brother. Here's how deep this goes, okay? This is like the deepest shit when it comes to female psychology, but when when you actually pull a girl for a day one or a day two, like you actually like, you successfully get a one night stand. Later, sometimes when you do this shit, later you'll find out they had a boyfriend and shit. What do they always say? It just happened. Or if you got cheated on, by the way, it just happened. Why did it just happen? Because her entire brain turned off and she got hypnotized into that escape reality, that role play that she had with that man. And here's how crazy it gets, brother. When you actually successfully create that alternate reality with that girl, and you pull her to your house, or anything, I'm gonna drop a bomb right now. You will get more success if you don't try to put on a condom. Riddle me that. Why is that? Think about that. So you're hot, you're passionate, and then you reach for a condom. Basically, in that moment of you reaching for a condom, you like lightning bolted this idea into her head that this isn't just happening. This wasn't an accident. You broke the role play. You broke the fantasy, because the fantasy is it just happened. It's natural. We're part of a role play. We're in an escape reality together, right? You whip out the condom, it's not an escape reality anymore. It's a logical, we are doing this, making this decision type of thing. This is where it gets really dangerous, man. This shit gets fucking dangerous. But if you don't go for the condom, it just happened. We got swept up in the moment. Risk be damned. We are in this role play together. Because she doesn't know that you were calculating everything in your head from beginning to end, right? She only sees the role play aspect of it. Your job as a man is to structure. You are a Dungeons and Dragons game master. You're a GM, okay? You are creating, what do they call it in Dungeons and Dragons? You're creating a campaign. Oh, that's it. Brother, you are a GM creating a campaign for this girl, for her to escape into. From the day you meet her till the day you guys break up or till the end. You're the GM. You're creating a campaign. And it's like you're in the middle of a boss fight and you're like, I don't know much about Dungeons and Dragons, but something happens, like you lose a dice or something and you have to go pick up another dice. It's immersion breaking. That's what pulling out the condom is. Or like you're playing a video game and your game crashes in the middle of a boss fight. It breaks the immersion. You're like, oh, damn it. It's like your brain locks back into reality mode. It's like, oh shit, oh yeah. I guess I gotta go do the dishes now. I guess I better send out those resumes. But if the game didn't crash, you would have kept going, right? All the way to the end. So you can't let the game crash on this girl. You're pulling out the condom. That's what I'm saying, dude. So pay attention to what I said in this video. For those of you that actually lasted this long to the video, this is the biggest golden nugget shit, dude. When she enters your frame and you create an escape for her, it's like I can see how a guy would perceive that as like weak-minded or like they are lesser than, but it's really just their desire to play. And it's their desire to not want to deal with the world. They don't really have video games like we do. Do Do you know what I'm saying? We can just smoke weed and play video games and escape that way. They have like heroin and like partying. That's like their version of video games. So if you can create a video game for them, they will fall in love with you for that shit, dude. Dude, you will get girls that love you to death if you learn the skill on actually how to create a video game for them so that they can escape and not break immersion. You know what I'm saying? Sit with this information, guys. If you like this content, scroll down, hit the subscribe button. This was a really deep one, but also maybe the most important one. All right, guys, subscribe again. See you later.